Good afternoon. Good night. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. We're live. It's Monday, April the 3rd, 8:36 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. A lot to talk about today. Before we start, we want to thank you for your support. Make sure to drop us a thumbs up if you're live. Leave us your comments, your insights. We'll read all of them. And then also, if you're listening to this on audio form, thank you so much for your support. And make sure to check us out on all our social media outlets. We're on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter as LPO_podcast. So thank you so much for your support. Quite an eventful couple days for me. I will have to say, I guess for the whole Orlando City fan base. But mainly for me because I had to do the back to back. We did the Orlando City on Saturday and then the Pride on Sunday, and two L's, right? Two L's. People is like, why are you laughing? It's just because I mean some of the reactions have been hilarious online, but definitely we're gonna analyze the loss, home loss against Nashville. And then we're going to definitely analyze also the Pride. They lost at the death against a tough opponent like Angel City. So we'll discuss that later on as well. And we'll touch a little bit about, what's going on with the fan base. It's very divided. And also we're going to talk about Inchy, Inchy coming up. So before we go with your comments, how are you, John? Good evening. How are you, my
Yeah,
friend?
I mean it was a 0 point weekend, so that was from the OC and the Orlando Pride perspective. So yeah, it was two games and two losses, but it was good to go for the Pride opener. I'm glad I went. The City game was a look at best, so that was a disappointment. But I think everybody could agree on that. Whether you are one of opinion or another, we can all agree it was not a great game.
No, it was definitely not a good game. I'm gonna definitely start by thanking 181 Creative for all the pictures. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to put them on right now. Very eventful night. 20,000 people in attendance. It kind of hurts us a lot. It handicaps us in a way as a fan base. If you want you know people to come to your stadium and you lose. I mean, not to say Nashville is a tough opponent. We've always had a tough time beating Nashville, and it seems like Orlando City is doing everything backwards, right? It seems like Orlando City is winning away, right? Without a shadow of a doubt, great performances away with less with more freedom. I'll say, the players feel like more at home away than at home, right? And that's saying something, right? In my opinion, it's saying something. Maybe they're reading the tweets, like I was saying the past two shows. Maybe,
I mean,
but
I
again,
think it's bad regardless, right? Why
right?
it's happening doesn't
Right, but
matter. It shouldn't
yeah,
be happening.
it
That's
shouldn't
what
be
the problem
happening,
is.
and
Yeah.
and mentally they have to be prepared for this too. I mean, they're professional soccer players. So, but 20,000 people in attendance at this game. He beat the game, the last home game. The last home it was about 18,000. This is 2,000 more, but it's 2,000 more, right, against Nashville. And unfortunately, it was a loss. You know, and I mean, I'm just gonna start. The lack of finishing for Orlando, it's becoming a recurrence, and it's becoming bad. Um, you know, they came out with the eagerness to control the tempo of the game, control the possession. And unfortunately, Jansen had an epic turnover in the beginning of the game, and it just cost to turn over the ball so much in the mid. Just cost us so much because Nashville is such a dynamic team in transition. You cannot, um, you know, just by himself, Hani Mukhtar destroyed our defense yet again. And so in the 28th minute, Nashville scored. Fafa Picoult, right? Um,
His first goal for them, by the way.
yep. first goal. And I just feel like Orlando, it's not really capitalizing on the chances they create, and that's definitely gonna bite us. Nashville, it was a 2-0 win, well deserved win by Nashville, but against a better opponent than Nashville, that could have ended up as a 4-0 loss. And psychologically, having that big of a margin loss at home would have been catastrophic, even worse than what we've seen online the past couple of hours. Um, so, what does Orlando have to do? I think it's up to Coach Pareja to definitely, talk to his players. I mean, they seem very disappointed. I don't doubt it. I saw it in the press conference. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what it says, right? So I think Pareja tried to do that. He tried to put the same lineup as Philly, but I don't think it worked very well for him. I don't know. What were your thoughts, initial thoughts about this game, John?
Yeah, I think you said it exactly right. The main essence of it is that we look like Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where they just had the ball all the time, but they
Yeah,
just didn't
possession.
really ever penetrate like into the box and like really make any decent. Like we had almost zero, clear cut chances or what you would call big chances. Right, there was nothing that was an easy, like, okay, we played a guy through and he had a clear shot on goal. Like everything, we had 18 total shots and like only 6 of them are on target. So we're just hitting from a bunch of areas and not really affecting, not doing anything to actually intentionally put the ball in the back of the net. I feel like we get to that final third and the game plan runs out, right? I don't understand what we're trying to do in the final third. And if I can't read that, as someone who understands soccer fairly well, I think a lot of other people can also see that we don't really know what we're doing when we get to the final third. And it showed in this game really badly because we had so much of the ball and we were able to get to the end of the field. We were able to get into the box or around the box, but we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net because we just don't have that in us at the moment to be clinical. And that's what Nashville were. They were clinical. They had very few chances. They played on the counterattack and they took their chances. And we had a whole bunch and we didn't really do anything with the ball. So that's how you end up with a 2-0 loss at home against a team like Nashville. We played exactly into their hands. And we kind of fell into our own trap in a lot of ways where we love to have the ball, but we just don't really do anything with it. And Nashville do when they have the ball. And that's how you end up with that result.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this. I cannot see the actual starting 11. Looks too slow. Hold on, let me too small right here. Hold on, let me. There you go. That's much better. Yeah, right there. Okay, so I think it was usually our strongest point is our right back and left backs. The past few wins, this game, Petrasso and Smith where I believe they attempted to be defensive minded when Nashville tried to attack, and they did not go forward. And then when you trace back Pereira, at some point Pereira ended up playing his 8th position again. And that to me meant that you're going to give the job to create now to Ojeda and maybe Van Angulo. And then they had, in my opinion, better defenders than we did. As we mentioned in the preview, Shaq Moore, Lovitz, and Walker Zimmerman, they were non-existent. They were non-existent. The buck stopped there. And also a great game by Godoy, which is like their Cesar Araujo, right? And that was another thing. Felipe Martins was playing in Araujo's position, and Martins was playing, and Araujo was playing in Martins' position. And that should have been flipped, in my opinion. I don't know if it was the game for Martins. I think maybe would have been better to see Cartagena and Araujo at the 6. and maybe Pereira as a 10 the whole 90 minutes. But I mean, to me, John, the attack is, I mean, the finishing touch is non existent. I mean, we don't have a goal scorer. I mean, beforehand, you had Nani that would create a genius play by himself, not following the script, right? Not following the script, and he will give you a shot from distance that will hit the crossbar, and then you had Tesho diving in or DK diving in. You would had a lobbed pass, to the death, a free kick, a penalty shot, a creation of a penalty kick. This time, Enrique, we didn't see Duncan. We barely saw Duncan Maguire. And then Cara injured. We don't have I mean, Ramiro Enrique, and it's not his fault. Ramiro Enrique is not the type of striker that's going to create his own play. He's not Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's not. Right? He's not even Robin van Persie in his better days. He's just a kid that just came to the league, is adapting very fast and very well, very talented, but he's just trying to find his place. And I feel he plays more defensive minded to the point that it becomes another midfielder, in my opinion, at some points of the game. And you could barely see him. And plus, when you have two center backs the size of Maher and Zimmerman, it was tough for him. I don't know what were your thoughts regarding the attack.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is an argument there to be said about Enrique's size versus, Mayer and Zimmerman, but we were talking before that, we wanted to use his pace, and that's something that we didn't really ever do. We didn't ever get in behind Nashville. Like, we never saw balls really over the top. Everything was in front of them and easy because they play that way where they sit back. And so in that situation, you're not really able to use Enrique's pace, and so maybe you would have more effect from somebody like Enrique Acara, who's a bit more physical. I was a little bit disappointed with how long it took to bring, the subs on. Like, Facu comes on at the half. I don't really think that changed much, to be honest. I think, if anything, we looked less, creative with Facu on the field. And then you wait until the 78th minute to bring on Duncan Maguire and Gaston Gonzalez. But we're 2-0 down at that point. And then the one that really hurt, I think, is Dagger Dan's not coming on until the 82nd minute, right? So when we're clearly having problems in the midfield, I think one of the big frustrations we have with Oscar is he doesn't react fast enough when things aren't going to the game plan. And this game plan against Nashville should be something we've locked down over the years. We've played them enough, right? Hani Mukhtar has done this to us enough. So we should know how to beat Nashville at home now. And it's not doing what we did, where you just hold on to the ball and don't attack fast enough and let them win a ball on the counter and come back up the other end. Like, how many times have they done that to us? They did it into the playoffs where I went to go watch them and they knocked us out. Like, Oscar has to learn that that's not how you play Nashville, because this is what happens, right? So there needs to be a change and a reaction from him. And those subs late, I think, plays into that as well, where we're not seeing plan B, right? When plan A is not working, plan B needs to come into effect quicker. And we didn't see that in this game.
Yeah, I want to thank Orlando City Communications for the footage. This is the B-roll that was sent to media. I'm going to mute it. We don't need the audio because we can comment on it. Hold on. So Martin Ojeda, I mean, I think he tried to have a good performance just like he did with Philly. I feel like he just, I mean, again, the defense of Nashville, which was faster, quicker, stronger, just like the song, stronger, faster, quicker. It was just they knew where to get him. Like look at that. You saw that. You see, they're trying to do a cross to Ramiro Enrique with two towers in front of him. It's just impossible. You gotta play with Mauricio. Try to pass it. Do some short passing. Right. That'll be better. Angulo also had a tough time, as you can see, with Hani Mukhtar. Hani Mukhtar was one of his best games of the season so far. And then Daggerdan didn't come until late. And then if you saw this play right here, Duncan McGuire, just his physicality right here. Look, well, this is Mauricio with Hani Mukta that had a good game too. But right here, I just when he comes in, um, Duncan McGuire holds off Zimmerman. like, like right here, look. Um, Look how he holds off Zimmerman. Like he holds off Zimmerman and just like passes it back. Now the thing is, because he passes it back because he doesn't have anyone forward. So at that point, your wings have to go and move forward. So he's able to pass it to his wings. Unfortunately, he's forced to pass it backwards. And that's what people saw and pass it to Mauricio. Mauricio is pretty much the playmaker. And then, that was a good shot from Martin Ojeda, shot from distance. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough for the Lions. Right there, that's another chance for Duncan.
That was a big chance, that one there. But he almost, like, the goalkeeper saves it just with his hands almost out of luck. So that would have been great goal.
But I mean, we cannot get mad at him over this.
Oh, no, not at all.
Right.
No,
look at that. Look at that.
He does really well. I'm saying that he was close to scoring. He's just unlucky, really.
I see that we need to know, I don't know, I mean, we need to know who we're playing against too, and maybe set up our lineup that way. Because this, based on what we saw this game, in my opinion, I believe that it probably would have been Duncan's game, because the physicality of the center backs, you could see them. I mean, they're physical center backs. And you're going to put little Ramiro there, to jump high. It's just not going to work. John,
I think that applies to Daggerdan too, right? So like he's much more of an athletic, more physical center midfielder, right? So why is he waiting so long to bring him into the game when he can come in and actually hustle? That's what Nashville do. They hustle. And the other thing they do and they know about us is that we don't really have much pace in that back line. And that first goal that scored, yes, the ball's rolling. We all saw that. But the reason it scored is because the guy, Pico, I can't say his name right, he's got so much pace. He just runs straight in behind. And we can't keep up with him. Our back line, we're not the fastest in our defensive back line. So people, when they throw in balls in behind, it causes real problems for that. Nashville know that, and that totally plays into their counter-attacking style. And both goals are caused from them quickly throwing the ball in behind our center backs and us running behind backwards to scramble to try and clear it. We're not able, and they're able to get the goal.
No, I do believe, and I'm going to say this with a lot of honesty, without, and I know Profe listens to the show, and I know, we're not here to, drop you with a pile driver like in WrestleMania. We're not going to do that, sir. What we're going to do here is just analyze the game. But I believe that Facundo Torres is a $13 million man. Should have played the game. I mean, he should have. I mean, and I understand if Aiden broke, don't fix it. Totally understand. But I think obviously when he came in, I could definitely feel, and I was at the press box, that he was a little salty about that. He just, you know what I mean? Losing his spot to Ojeda, the newcomer, right?
Well, I thought it was interesting that when he did come in, Ojeda got moved over to the left wing. So this power struggle for who gets to play right wing is going on, right? And like Ojeda last game against Philly looked really good from that right wing role. He starts again today in that right wing role. And then Torres comes on and he has to move over to that left-hand wing because Torres wants to play on the right-hand wing. So I think I'm not sure Oscar knows where he wants to play these guys yet. And that's clear to me in the sense that he keeps shuffling them around every game. And, we started out with Ojeda playing as the center attacking midfielder. Was that the original plan for the season? And he's changed his mind. If that was the original plan, then Facu was always supposed to play on the right wing, right? So now maybe he said, okay, I can't really play Ojeda in the center technical, and I want to put Pereira back in there. Now he's trying to figure out, okay, where does Ojeda go? Where does Torres go? I think that's, again, a problem Oscar has, is it's not clear to me what our starting lineup is and what our starting roles of the guys in the starting lineup is. And there's some confusion. I think the players are confused as well. I think that's
I think the
evident in the fact that we can't attack very well.
yeah, I mean the players, and this is what I noticed being there. Um, I feel that they're getting used to play with. Some of them are getting used to play with. They already are completely used to play with Facundo. So now that you're bringing up Martin, it's some of them is going to take time to mesh well. But I think the problem here in this game, in my opinion, was the turnover rate in the mid, and also our left back and our right back. Unfortunately, I mean it was. I mean, it was just they were there to defend, and they did a great job. But there was no generation on the wings because of that reason. Also, because the Nashville's backline was so good, neutralizing our wingers. So Ojeda had few chances. Angulo definitely, lost the ball many times. So
But I
uh,
also think we attacked from the wing, right? That was our game plan. It didn't work, and then we just kept trying to do that same thing. Like, and obviously Nashville stopped it the whole game, and you have to change that game plan. You have to try something different. So we made it easy for them to just keep stopping us on the wings, keep stopping our right backs and left backs from getting crosses in. They just defended the outside and packed bodies in the middle of the park, and we didn't change our game plan to change in order to cause them problems. We just kept playing into their hands.
now I'm gonna go ahead and play some of the comments that we have right here right now. Let's see. Tyler Kink. Oh, this might get spicy. How you doing, sir? Thomas Dupree. OC Twitter is not a great place right now. It's never a great place. Yeah, unfortunately. Al Negron. Can we win at home? That's a good question. That's right. Vine a dejar mi like y dar una vista más. Thank you so much, Marco Antonio. Appreciate it. Gracie Mush. Counterpoint. OC Twitter is lit. I love drama. I think I beg to differ there. That's just my opinion. Serge Nash, good evening. Do you think Maguire came in late with Enrique bouncing off like a ping pong ball of 6'6" defenders? He would work better up top with size, right? That's what we were saying, right? I think he's so
Yeah,
right.
I think we
He's so
addressed
right.
that one. We agree with you there, Serge.
Yeah, Al Negron, we stopped creating with Mauro was dropped back from the 10. That's right. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Tyler King, it's so sad to see so much firepower and still not finished. That's right. It's like it reminds me of Barcelona last season. 450 touches, one half, like 350 touches in second half. They lost 2-0.
If you play
Like
tiki taka soccer where you're
you
just
can't
passing
do
it
that.
around, you
Just
actually
can't
have to
fucking do.
eventually pass it close
Sorry,
enough to the goal to put
you
it in
can't
the
do that.
goal. You can't
You need
just
to
keep
learn how to
passing it
play like
around the
this
whole game.
team. You need to learn how to play like this team, maybe. You know what I mean? A little bit more vertical, a little bit more, having a left back like Alfonso Davis, right? I mean, Serge Nash. I can switch to STM away games option now, please. Oh, jeez,
You got the
Jeffrey.
Apple TV deal, so you can just watch all the away games.
Yeah,
So
people
you
are
don't have
complaining
to.
about Apple TV as well. I was seeing
Wow.
stuff about yeah. Jeffrey, saludos. I would like to see Gaston over Angulo on the left wing, and Angulo will be our right back or left back. To be honest, Gaston Pereira Ojeda Facu doesn't seem to like his new teammates as well. Um, I don't know. I just feel like I've been to the practices, and they all get along well so well. I mean, you don't smell any animosity or any like, hey, there's a little group. Here's where Pedro's groups is, and this is where Facundo's groups is. No, 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 no. They're all together, and Oscar definitely tells them, no, you bond with each other. The problem I see is what John points out: the rotation. I think the rotation we gotta find an A and a B squad and just roll with it and make
I
them be
I
play.
also think positional is more
Yeah,
important, even more than that. Like enough position rotation. Like we need to say this is where you're playing. This is your role. This is what you're expected to do out of those attacking roles. Like it's too who is our 10? If it's Mauricio, keep it as Mauricio, right? If it's someone else, get them in there, get them playing the number 10. But when we're constantly changing these guys around, they're just not sure. Like, am I supposed to be the one who's running into the box? Am I supposed to be the one making the pass? Am I looking for the runner? Like, it's confusing for them.
Thomas Dupree says, "Who's available in the coach pool that we could conceivably get if we move on for Papi?" You have Thomas Tuchel. Oh wait, never mind. He went to this team. You have
Jesse
Ricardo.
Marsh.
Yeah, Jesse Marsh, right? Ah, I mean,
I mean, he was just a Premier League coach. I mean, that's got to
yeah,
count for something, right?
yeah, but Leeds is like it's a U.S. men's national team at some point. You know what I mean? Like
I
even
mean,
even FIFA points out that that's a mistake when you put too many players for one country. FIFA tells you it doesn't work.
well, whoever it is, it needs to be someone who's a different style from Oscar, right? Like I've had some people who are suggesting, like, "Oh, we want like Jose Mourinho," and I'm like, "No, you just don't replace a defensive coach with another defensive coach. You're gonna end up with the same game."
I tell you who, Jorge Sampaoli. Probably haven't heard of him, but he was the coach of OM. He was the coach for Santos. He was the coach for the Chilean national team. He also won Copa Libertadores. He's won several trophies. I think because of how many Latino players we have, we need to play that way. And I
We
think
definitely
it'll
need to
be
be able to speak Spanish for sure.
right. Like Miguel, Gallardo from River Plate. He's also without a team. Marcelo Gallardo. But obviously, Marcelo Gallardo, I don't highly doubt he'll come to the MLS. Although, if the money's right, I mean, he'll come. But he's a hell of a coach. I mean, he won Copa Libertadores back to back. He's up and he played for the Argentina national team. You know, phenomenal coaching career. You know, if you want to go for Brazil, want to go back to the Brazilian flavor, you want to go back and remember Flavio Augusto da Silva, you can get Tite, Brazil's old coach. There you go. You know, no, or we could just get or just we can keep Oscar for the whole season, and see where it takes us. I mean, the league just started, just John, right? Yeah, we've lost at home, one against 18,000 people, and so about 38,000 people total. We've lost two games at home. I think that's the what people are definitely voicing their opinion, right? I mean, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean it's been a very up and down start. And it's been very similar to last year. I think that's
Yeah.
the main frustration, right? People were expecting something different with all the signings we made in the off season. It just seems very more of the same from last year, which is a shame.
And here's some of the words from Oscar Pareja. We'll read all your comments right after.
All right, Oscar, thank you as always for joining us. If you could get us started with your opening thoughts on today's match.
Disappointed being at home in front of our fans and not getting the result. This is the most painful part. The analysis of the game, I thought we make a couple mistakes on the defensive phase that costly really the game in terms to just chasing it all the time. And then the other side and the other box, we're not fine. We were optimistic today because we came out from a game that we played very well. And today we were not fine in those two areas. So defensively, those two mistakes. And then offensively, when we had the chance, we couldn't score. So I still have to be balanced on the analysis and not be very passionate just with the result on our shoulders and don't see all those things that we did good in the game, because we did a bunch of things that were good and correct, and the team is getting in there, and then so I have to talk about it too. So we'll keep growing on those things, but it's obviously I need to I need to see with the group how can we grow those things that we are doing good, and then how can we correct those others.
No, and we'll stop with the audio stuff, with the video. So I want to go ahead and say this. Obviously, and I'm reading the comments here. Tyler King says, "I think Oscar has until the Galaxy match. If we get 0 out of the next 2, he'll be gone." Right. Let's say that happens. What are we gonna do after that? Who we're gonna get? Right? And are we still gonna be winning games? Or is just getting rid of Oscar and then just let's roll with it? Let's see what the water boy can do. This is not Ted Lasso, guys. This is real football. This is real soccer. The water boy cannot be your manager. So what are we gonna do? I'm just asking you.
I mean, I think if you are gonna get, like, for one, it all depends on the ownership and how their game plan. Like, they're not just randomly making this up. They had a game plan to invest in the squad. They went ahead and did that, right?
Yeah.
Oscar has all the tools at his disposal, so he has everything he needs. They will have said, these are your requirements for the season. This is what you need to hit, right? So if it gets to the point in the season where we're doing that badly and it looks like that he's not going to hit that, maybe that's the point where they say, okay, let's make a change now. Or they might just say, all right, we're not going to hit our targets this season. Let's see out the season. And then we'll, make a change in the offseason. We don't know, right? So a lot of this sort of, pressure to get Oscar out or whatever else, it doesn't matter. It's on the game plan of the ownership and what they want to do. And that's, personally, I think it doesn't make any sense to get rid of Oscar unless you have somebody lined up. It's going to be better than Oscar, not like an equivalent or somebody who's worse. Like, we want to go up in managers if you're going to get rid of Oscar.
Like Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, so there's no benefit in just getting rid of Oscar and having an interim coach and waiting and trying to figure it out. And, like,
I agree.
We're not Chelsea. We're not going to start scrambling and firing a guy for no reason. Okay, we're going to
Graham Porter, welcome to Orlando City.
Right. So I hope that these guys, the front office and the ownership group are smart enough, the GM, to know, Luis, this is part of the job as well as the players is manager scouting. So he should have a list somewhere of, like, these are the guys that we're going to replace if something doesn't, work out with Oscar. One of those on that list should be ready to go if you're going to fire Oscar. If not, then keep him there for the rest of the season. Again, he will know what his requirements are. They will know when that point comes where they would say, we've had enough. It might not come this year. He might end up turning things around. It might come this year. We don't know.
Right.
Until that kind of happens, like, the speculation and everything else is kind of pointless. Let's be honest.
Right. And I want to say this too, and we'll read your comments right now. Thank you so much. Look, we may, Orlando City fashion, right? We may win the next 3.
I mean, we're better away from home than at
exactly.
Home,
First
so we can win
first and foremost, the right, and we give it to Inchy. We'll talk about that later. And then we will play against DC United, a team that we should beat at home, right? I mean, I think I would.
But then you would say that about Charlotte.
Exactly.
And you could
that's right.
say that about Nashville. So
exactly.
So if we're going on record, that's a loss.
And I guarantee you, for the DC United game, STMs are going to be there for sure. I mean, there's always a support, and I'm not going to doubt on fan support, but they're going to be less than 20,000 people. I guarantee it on that game. And then you come against LA Galaxy, and I know that game is definitely going to be in the 20s or 25,000, in my opinion, because I know a lot of LA Galaxy that are fans that live in Orlando, so I know for a fact that they're going to be there. Now, Orlando may win the next 3, and Orlando may lose the next 3. But like you said, right, the front office needs to have a B plan of what's to happen. Also, you cannot make a rush decision, because then you could deplete your team, and then we will be an Orlando Magic. But one thing that I want to be clear to everyone is this, and if you're listening, if you're watching, thank you so much. Drop us a thumbs up. I wouldn't be happy talking about a loss of Orlando City just because I want to be right. Okay? And I've seen this. Like, people are actually hopeful that Orlando loses, so their arguments are right, or for whatever soccer analysis they may have. And the whole point is, as Orlando supporters, and I include myself also, even though I should maybe not say that because I'm a journalist, but you gotta be happy when Orlando wins, and in a way not be the type of person just destroys. This is not Dragon Ball Z. This is not Beerus. You're not destroyer of the worlds. You don't want complete chaos, right? You have to think your thoughts through. And I believe that just because you want to be right, you should not be just cracking up. Oh, yeah, we told you. You see, they lost, man. We suck. Like, throw everything away. That's counterproducing. It doesn't help. If anything, for some players that are brand new to Orlando City, some of the newcomers, is going to tell them, yo, are the fans like that? Man. Like, it's going to make them think, like, where I'm at? Where have I come from? So, I'm just going to be completely honest about that. But, again, I think this Nashville game, Orlando, with the firepower that they have, they should have been playing a little better. I do believe that. Now, it sucked too, and I'll be honest with you, completely sucked, John, that it wasn't the Seacows night. Because I wanted Orlando to win with the Seacows. With the Seacows. Everything was Seacows. It was amazing.
And that's sort of where, Oscar and the boys are letting the side down, right? I feel like the front office this year has done a lot of really good things to bring the fans back, to try and create some excitement. And the Seacows game was just another awesome example of the creativity that's going into a lot of this stuff that they're doing. And the fact that, it would have been so cool to get a win under the whole excitement of, hey, it's a cool Seacows. They decked out the whole stadium. It was like all over the banners and on the scoreboard. And, we really commit to something that's cool like that, right? And then you kind of want to win to nicely tie all that up in a bow. And it sort of just was like, oh, we're the Seagulls who lose at home 2-0 to Nashville.
And I'm sure that the players know that. But I also understand the frustration, because I've seen the people putting the Seacow stuff and how hard they've worked into putting all that together. So, and my hat's off to them, and they know who they are. But, and they did an amazing job. Communications, every single one, every single person. But again, this was a perfect night for those 20,000 people that were in attendance. Say, fantastic night, hilarious Seacows. I bought my $90 Seacows jersey with love, and we won, and we're top seed, right? And unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way. And I think that's why people left frustrated. And I will hate to see the same frustration building up of what happened in 2017 and people leaving at halftime. You know what I mean? Because I lived that. I lived that.
That was the thing for me. Like, I gotta admit, the second half, I was kind of like half watching, because it was one of those where nothing was happening. And I think there's a lot of people in the stadium who get to that point. It just kind of felt like one of those games where no matter what we do, we just can't score. And the amount of people that I saw leaving early from the stadium, and the look of just like disappointment and like boredom and sort of just like, oh, this is happening again sort of thing on their face, was very evident. And I think that's what we're talking about the Wilfs have made it very obvious that they want to bring back the excitement, right? They want to do a lot of things to try and get fans in the stadium, but they can only do so much. On the field, we have to win at home to get those goals, to create that excitement, to create that buzz, to bring the people back. So you have all the effort of getting those, 20,000 people up there for a big Saturday game. You got to score the goals. You got to create the excitement so that they're into it, and then they want to come back next time. And there's just too many people on a Saturday leaving thinking, well, why do I want to come back to this? That was just really not entertaining and just not enjoyable.
No, I totally agree. And, we'll read some comments here and then we'll continue. Mr. J. Santos 7, which thank you so much, my friend. The team needs the captain's confidence in passing and trusting each other. Runs are being made without the system. I totally agree with you. I wasn't saying the Waterboy will be the manager, but I would have faith in the coach changing and improving. But go off, Lewis. No. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm entitled to mine as well. And I will say that, to me, it's a rush decision. I mean, okay, we let go Oscar. I mean, we got to have a B plan, right? We had to have a B plan. And if, I'm sure front office, Oscar probably doesn't even know. Front office, if they're thinking of doing that, they already have a couple of people. Who knows, right? Now, am I going to say this and put it on Twitter? No. But, maybe. You never know. But what I'm trying to say is, we got to be responsible, because we still have Minnesota, DC. We have 2 home games. We have one against Montreal in Montreal. It's going to be a tough game against Montreal. Always tough against Orlando City, especially at their home. Vous parlez français, imagine that. And then you're going to come back. You're going to go to Columbus, play against Celarayan and people. And then you're going to come back to Orlando May 17th. And then you're going to play NYCFC, a team that's been completely disbanded, right? But they still have some dynamic players up front, like Thales Magno and things like that. And then you're going to have Inter Miami in Miami. So the road and the way doesn't get any easier for Orlando either. So one manager wants the hot potato. It has to be a manager that's mentally ready here. That's why I'm saying it has to be a seasoned manager, somebody that's going to take a team, and they have to find someone that is just ready to go. And I don't know if they're going to have the time to find one. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I think, like I said, they should have a list of people already, but also it's those people are probably in jobs already, or there are a lot of coaches out there on the market, but it just depends when you pull the trigger as to say you're going to make the move, who is available at that time, right? You might have a whole list of people who are available, but when you actually want to make the move, then they're not available. So there's a lot of things at play. I think the biggest thing is that they would have had an original game plan for the season and, objectives that Oscar needed to meet. So I think from a perspective of, we're going to get rid of you, it's like, if you don't hit these objectives, then we're going to move on and find another coach. So they might say, okay, we're going to give you the whole season to try and hit certain objectives. Or they might just be saying, okay, halfway through the season, we want to make a change now because it's clear to us that you're not going to get there at the end of the season. It's hard to say. Nobody knows what they're thinking. And until that happens, then we can start speculating who's going to be the manager next. I hope, like I said, that they're not just going to get rid of Oscar and start shopping around while we wait to figure things out. I'd say you don't get rid of him until you got somebody lined up that he's, better.
Right. Citrus FC, soccer is a complex sport. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 necessarily. I agree. And that's a problem too with our fan base. I mean,
like Torres plus Ojeda doesn't equal more goals. Is that what
but
you're
why?
saying?
But why, John?
It should
I pay my money.
But clearly, right now, it doesn't. So there you go.
But why, John? I pay my money. I pay it, man. You see what I'm saying? He's completely right. It doesn't equal 2. I mean, and again, I could say I've seen soccer for since I'm. I can say I've seen soccer for 38 years, right? I will never say that, guys. By the way, I will never. No one knows more than anyone else. But all I'm saying is, everyone. I think the common denominator here is the love for Orlando City and the love for Orlando as a city, right? So I think we all want Orlando to do great. And I think as a fellow Orlandoan, a Central Floridian, I've ate up the Magic. I've ate up the Solar Bears. I've ate up the freaking Predators, right? And Orlando City has been the best thing it has happened to the city for the longest time. So I totally understand why the frustration. And I believe, let me believe, of the hopefully a turnaround, coming up in Minnesota. We're facing a manager that is a Orlando City original, right? Orlando City original, somebody that closely too. So, what do we have to expect against Minnesota coming up, John?
I mean, I think you expect a very well drilled defensive team. I mean, that's for
Yeah,
sure. Like Adrian's all about his
yeah,
shape, and they've lost Reynoso
yep,
this season for all of that craziness that happened there. So they are doing very well. They haven't lost yet, I think, right? I believe they're unbeaten so far. They're up at fourth in the West. It's going to be tough. I think
yeah. They're
we're
fourth in the
gonna
West.
we're gonna go there and try and do something, but they could easily just keep us out the whole game with their defensive prowess. Like that's a very real possibility based on the fact that we have real problems scoring goals, and they're very good at defending. So yeah, but then the same thing could be said for Philly. The difference being, with Philly week, it was a bit of more chaos in there. Everybody was missing starters on both teams, whereas this is going to be, a full Minnesota team with 2 weeks rest, who's in form, who hasn't lost yet. So much more, even more of a challenge to go away and get a win. But as Oscar's shown, that doesn't mean anything. Like, we could go and get a win, totally. So
We could get 2 goals in 20 minutes.
Right. We're better away from home than at home. So, take everything I just said and throw it out the window, because that doesn't matter. And we're going to score 2 goals and win 2-1, But I think it will be a challenge, and they will sit defensively solid and, make it very difficult for us. And I think we struggle to score. So that will be the main story of that game, I think. Like, they'll win 1-0 probably.
Yeah, they just come from beating the darling of the MLS, the undefeated, the Brock Lesnar of the MLS at the moment, St. Louis, right? And they beat them by a PK. So imagine how pissed St. Louis fans were. But
They try to out hustle the ultimate hustler in, a team of Adrian. Adrian's like, you guys are trying to like reinvent hard work. He's like, I've been out here teaching teams how to like really work hard and get the most out of like an average squad.
I played.
That's how we won USL championships, So he's like, I think we know how to deal with this, and he showed St. Louis.
Yeah, I rememr
I refuse to call them city. I feel like that's you can't just claim the word city. That's not fair.
Yeah, the first the first the first squad that Inchy had in Orlando was crazy. Did they had like a Cuban guy? I forgot. I think it was like a
Jordani Alvarez.
Jordani Alvarez, right?
Great player, man. He just sadly had to end his career early, but he's
Yeah.
still a coach. He's still around in Orlando.
Yeah.
OG people will remember Jordani Alvarez.
Yeah, Jordani Alvarez. Yeah. So I mean, they have a pretty good team. They have Luis Amarilla, obviously, is their DP. William Trapp, phenomenal game against St. Louis, ate the midfield. Arriaga also did really, really well. And then the center back, Boxall from New Zealand, he's the pretty much the general. He's the Jensen of Minnesota. And Boxall, I've seen him play against Peru national team. He's a very physical player, and he knows where to get you. It's kind of like Zimmerman. So I will recommend for for that game, maybe we give Dagger Dan for sure, and maybe have Duncan McGuire. I think it'd be a good idea. What if we see a hat trick from Duncan? I think John will go. He'll go and spend money on a jersey with Duncan on the back. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean that would be great. I'd love that. He's one that I think is ready to really start firing in. What I liked about him when he came on in this game, he's so determined to like change things. You see like the level of enthusiasm that he has. Like he came on and there was a point I was watching where he lost the ball in the second half and he ran like all the way back and was basically making a tackle next to Schlegel to win the ball back because he lost it at the end of the field. We need more of that, right? That's something that Enrique, as good as he's looking, doesn't do. Like he's not doing the defensive work that McGuire is doing from the front.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I think McGuire will be great to see him against Minnesota. But again, let's read some more comments. It says Peyton Manning. It says, "Saludos, muchachos. How you doing, guys? Orlando City to the death. Hello from Lima, Peru." Oh my God, really? Orlando City fans in Lima, Peru? That's crazy. How you doing, my friend? So I'm not the only one. All right, there you
Look,
go.
they got an Orlando City logo in purple too. See that?
Yeah,
Legit.
it's
Is
not.
that a
It's
lion? Is that us?
no.
Or am I just imagining it?
Okay, this is a prank that this. Yeah, I think he's just being a jokester. Look, this
Okay.
like this is a mall in Peru,
Well, it's
and they have
purple.
a
You got me
lion, and
excited. It's
yeah,
the purple lion. There you
yeah,
go.
it looks like oh wow, it looks it looks like Orlando's logo, but that's funny. But anyways, you know, then we took another L, guys. Aside of that, we took another L real quick just to brush up the Pride, right? That was another L, a tough one to swallow too. Um, at the death, pretty much against Angel City. You were there at the game, John. What were your thoughts, real quick, regarding the game?
I hope there was definitely some encouraging signs for the Pride. I
Yeah,
think that
it's a lot of improvement.
there is definitely some improvement. I think we can see there were some attacking plays where we looked really dangerous. I think Bright, who came on, there was an early injury in the 23rd minute. And Messiah Bright came on and looked really, really strong up front and ended up getting the goal in the second half to make it an equalizer. And then sadly, right at the end of the game, Orlando Pride sadly threw it away with a defensive error in the 94th, it must have been 98th minute at that point, Luis. Like it was actually 90 plus 10 when they scored. And we had 8 minutes. So this was in the 2 extra minutes added into the 8 minutes of original extra time that they got a goal at the near post, which I think was really disappointing and just sort of ended, what would have been a nice draw for them based on, trying to build some momentum this season and pick up things after that disappointing 4-0 away opener to Portland. All in all, there's definitely some encouraging signs for them.
Yeah, a lot of improvement for the Orlando Pride. I think it was really heartbreaking that last play at the death and that goal for Angel City that sealed their win. But I want to say 4,000 people in attendance. I think we gotta, it'll be nice to see more people. Definitely to support the Pride. I encourage everyone to go see a game. And I think defensively, Madrill, she had that PK. I mean, you could say that she could have maybe done a little better, trying to recoup that ball. That was pretty blatant. But then again, I mean, defensively, Angel City wasn't really generating any attacking plays until maybe that PK. So,
I feel like that was it was both Madrill and Morehouse there.
Yeah.
Like Madrill's, if she's gonna come out, she's got to claim that ball and she's got to commit to it. And Madrill let she got past her, and then you can't come in from behind in the box on the striker and not expect a PK. Like it's gonna even if you get the ball, you're gonna give a PK. It's just when the referee sees that action, they're gonna give a PK. So that wasn't the smartest move. And didn't set them up for an easy comeback, but they did come back and they were looking really good in that second half until. And we had all that extra time. The extra time was looking like it was going to benefit the Pride, and we were having lots of chances in that extra time. And then it sort of swang back the other way, and then they had a couple corners, and that final corner was what went in, and it was just sort of a real bummer to the end of what could have been a nice draw for them.
Well, and the Pride, after the loss, today they announced the signing of 18-year-old Canadian international Amanda Allen. She's joined to a 3-year deal through the 2025 season, and it's a Canadian international, definitely like a diamond in the rough, I'll say. So this Pride team is
18 years old and you're in the national team. You got to be doing something right.
That's right. So some people say she's a prodigy. Hopefully she's able to live up to the expectations of the Pride once, and able to definitely be the face of the franchise, and I think that's a little bit of what's missing too, marketing wise, for the Pride,
And a dynamic attacking midfielder, that's really what they need. I kind of noticed that it was a little bit Messiah Pride and looked a little bit alone up there on her own on an island sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think they need someone who can, maybe get a bit closer and play more of like an attacking midfielder, maybe a winger, creative role to help them.
That's right. So I wanted to thank everyone for being live with us. If you're listening to this, thank you so much for your support. We'll be back next week with more Orlando City news. And
I want to kind of give a final.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
A final thing, Luis, for all the people talking about, the Twitter sphere and, the big picture of what's going on.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's so divided. It's like there's all these, pappy out people, which I think from their point of view, they want to change. Like they've seen enough of Pappy Bowl, and they're sort of like had enough of all of that. And I understand that, and I understand where they're coming from. And then I think on the other side, there's a lot of people who are saying, give the team time to gel, and which I don't think is an excuse anymore. I think we kind of past that point. And other people are preaching, rationality and patience, and I think that's also good. And they're saying, remember last year we won the Open Cup with Oscar. Like it's everyone like you can kind of look at this from a level head. I think really what it is that Oscar is gotta he's got to figure out what he wants to do, and I think now is the time for him to make changes, and he's got to do something different, right? We have to see a different tactic from him, a different game plan from him. And I think if that doesn't happen, and if these results continue, then that's going to play more into the Pappy out people's hands. And if he does make a change and results pick up, then, all of this could be gone in like 2 or 3 months, right? We could be, the idea of getting rid of him was ridiculous. We're on
the next game, right? The next game, the next few games, we could see people like really being completely silenced.
Yeah, I mean that's like the Philly situation, right? Like we see how quickly it can change on a dime. So I think really this is a turning point for Oscar and a turning point for Orlando City in the sense that not just the results have to change. I think the gameplay has to change. Like I think we need to see more entertaining soccer at home, and that's the most important thing. He can go and lose away, and we're not going to be that fussed, right? But if the results don't come at home, then I think something will change. And so it's on him to change the tactics, change the formation, change the way we play, do what you need to do to get this team firing and to get home wins and to get goals at home. Like we need to see entertaining soccer at home. So Oscar, you need to make that change. You need to make that happen. If you don't do that, I think it's going to get worse. So that's where I think we're at in a sort of bigger picture situation. And I think a lot of the, quick people on Twitter and everything who are quick to jump to saying Oscar out. have a little bit of patience, wait till the summer. Let's see where we're at there. And if the results are still, inconsistent and we're getting more losses than wins and the summer's here, I think, you guys can shout even louder and maybe something will be done in the summer. Maybe it won't happen till the end of the season. We don't know. But, just have a little bit of patience, give it a bit more time. We understand everybody's frustrated, but it doesn't help, just constantly saying get rid of the manager, especially when it hasn't been that bad. We've had 2 losses. Yes, they're at home. Yes, they're against,
Yeah, I know.
disappointing, weren't that great
Yeah,
results, but we're not bottom of the table, right?
yeah.
You don't see the other teams at the bottom of the table screaming to get rid of their manager hard as we are. So I think just a little bit of rationality and a little bit of level-headedness could go a long way. And
You couldn't
let's
speak.
review again in in the summer and in 2 or 3 months, and then we can discuss. Okay, maybe it's really not working. Let's move elsewhere, or it might be working. We don't know, but 2 months into the season, yes, it hasn't been the greatest start, but we can't just throw everything away immediately. Like let's see where we are in the future.
I want to say something. This is a platform and first and foremost, I want to say that John is completely right. And I wholeheartedly agree with his statement. I feel exactly the same way. I do want to say that this platform, which is Loud and Proud Orlando, when I first introduced the brand, I want to tell everyone that's listening and watching that we want to be a positive influence to the community, and that to me was huge. And as you guys could see, we don't really we can say things that we analyze the game, we give our insight, we give our opinion, but we are not here to create buzz or hype over personal matters, or 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 get upset over personal attacks, or bring my Twitter drama into my show and just air it all out in front of John and Paula. Had nothing to do with this. We're not here to we're here to be a positive influence to the community. So maybe when you are working, picking up your kid, you can listen to us. When you're going to Publix, getting some some run, you can listen to half of the show. We want to definitely be a positive influence to the community. Now, with that being said, there's no wrong or right side. I believe that everyone's entitled to their opinion, but also we have to measure and understand how we're reacting to things, right? And I do believe that as a fan base, we are still in diapers when it comes to. I mean, the season just started. I mean, when I tell this to the international community about why Orlando fans sometimes are this way, they're like, "Oh, but isn't the league just started and you just lost 2 games?" Like, yeah, but they're at home. Oh, but that happens all the time. I was like, yeah, but it's different over there. It's like, they take it very to heart, which, I'm not trying to downplay it at all. It is the errors are there, plain view, but we're here to be a positive influence to the community. We're here to definitely set us apart, have fun, smile, sometimes, sometimes not agree with everything, but we're here we're here for the love of Orlando City and Orlando Pride and OCB, and we're here to definitely support the decisions too of the front office too, in a way, right? So I mean, we're here to discuss some of the decisions of the front office that we may not agree, right? I may not agree, John may not agree, Paula may not agree, but there are some decisions that the front office has made that have been great decisions. Facundo Torres, Pedro Gales's renewal, the great work they've done with the academy. I mean, every other week there's a new player shining in the academy. Zachary Campagnolo, you have, so many players, to name a few. So there's a lot of good and a lot of positive, happening in the club. And it's just sometimes that, don't get fed by the cloud, guys. Don't give in the cloud. Don't give in into that. And we're not going to give in into that. So we welcome everyone here to come and say their piece. We read all your comments. We're not here to pick sides or like, oh, Pepe out, Pepe in. We're here to just to analyze and talk football, talk soccer. We're not here to cause any drama whatsoever. So if you see me walking, out at Exploria, or you see John or you see Paula, say hello. I'll go and stop, say hello, shake your hand. I haven't, we're completely fine on that regard. And you're not going to hear from us. Oh, you're going to hear destruction from us, guys. You're going to hear creation. You're going to hear ideas, brainstorming. How can we fix the situation? How can we move on? If you look at the biggest clubs in the world, Premier League clubs, English League clubs, you have clubs in South America, win or lose, the fans are there. To give you an example, that crest right there you guys see in the back is from Alianza Lima. Is my Peruvian team, okay? Now, I've never talked about it, but I'm going to mention it today. They have the worst record internationally in Copa Libertadores. They have now won a game in Copa Libertadores, 29 matches without winning, right? But I still have the crest out there. I still support, and I eat the static noise and the banter and the jokes that people throw at me, because it's part of the folklore of soccer. It's just part of it. It's part of the folklore of soccer. But that doesn't mean that I'm just going to say, hey, I'm no longer an Orlando fan. I'm no longer going to go to the stadium. I'm no longer going to support. I'm no longer be an active season ticket holder and just throw it all away and go. No, I believe that we need to be better than that. Because I've heard a lot of, not from the people in this chat, but from other people out, oh, I'm not renewing, or oh, I'm quitting, or oh, I'm going to support Inter Miami. I saw a guy with an Inter Miami jersey at the Orlando game, at the Orlando City game against Nashville. He took his Orlando shirt out, and he had a Miami jersey. No joke. He went to the elevator with me. I was coming out of the press box. So things like that are not good. So it's counterproductive to the culture of the club, in my opinion. But we'll end like that, guys. We're gonna read some comments real quick, and then we'll close. Nijay Thompson, Pareja has taken this club as high as he can. It's clear. There you go. Minnesota played just like Nashville, by the way. Don't be shocked if it's basically a repeat of the weekend. Oh, there you go. Good analysis. Well, it could be, or we could win.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a valid point, but then also I would say counter argument to going away at Philly, right? Anything can happen, so we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely win. We can go into a run, 4-game run, ready for Inter Miami.
What if I said to you, we'll make the playoffs, but it will only be with away wins? Would you take that? Do you want that? Is that something you're interested in?
Right. So, but anyways, I wanted to go ahead and thank everyone that was live today with us. Thank you for your support. And again, we want everyone to just unite behind Orlando City and Orlando Pride and OCB. Support the club. And if anything else, John, vamos Orlando. Take care. Nos vemos next week.